Hello, I'm Josh Ryan, and I'm not going to sleep much this week watching Wimbledon. What's your plans, Lance?
I'm Lance Phillips, and I'll be making a meal plan because my chunkiness has gotten to outrageous levels. It's true. Dude, I'm way too big.
I mean, if you want to have that opinion, you're not, chunky is not a word I think of when I see you.
You should see me without any clothes on. It's ugly.
Well, I have not seen you without any clothes on, so
it's not good.
Perhaps that could change my opinion.
It's bad.
Okay, it's very negative
Gloves
self-talk
are off, Lance
to start
Phillips,
the show.
Josh Ryan. What was that, sorry?
It's very negative self-talk to start the show.
It's just a bad scene.
This show is not a bad scene, though.
No, absolutely not. Thanks for being on board with us. Really excited to have Graham Murray during our second segment here, head coach of the Lloydminster Extreme Lacrosse team.
Who are victorious.
Big time victorious, off to the second round of the Rocky Mountain Lacrosse League playoffs. That's going to be exciting, Josh. But
plenty of international news in Canada as well.
Yeah, a lot of Canadian topics today, because as you mentioned, some big stuff from the volleyball world and
basketball.
Big time from basketball. But let's get started with the Hometown Extreme, shall we?
Absolutely. So
the Hometown Extreme are off to the second round of the Rocky Mountain Lacrosse League playoffs after convincing wins over the Edmonton Warriors this past weekend. Josh Ryan, what does this team need to perform well against Cold Lake?
I think simply to focus on the basics of what they did well this past weekend. They took care of their pick and rolls. They defended better than they have for much of the season. And they had a few squeaky moments here or there, but they didn't get rattled as they did in earlier games this year, which Coach Graham Murray had talked about last time he was on the show.
Yeah.
That is the thing I think we're most looking forward to. How would they respond to pressure in a playoff system, or playoff series rather, playing in front of home fans? They handled that pressure very well. Now they have a different kind of pressure going into a road playoff series.
Quite simply, Graham Murray put it, we need to lock down their top scorer. They lock down their number one player and their offense, they're done. They're done, and that's the big thing. And since that Sherwood Park game on June 11th, this team has been the model of consistency that they hadn't been up to that point.
Exactly.
It's like it completely turned their season around, getting shellacked like that. They come out with a full effort, which is something he's made points on numerous times, and they're getting that now. I think they're in a great spot. They're playing their best lacrosse of the year.
And they're getting great goaltending as well. I mean, that's been
Boyer's been steady all year.
But it feels like now that the rest of the team has started to up their defense, he's elevated his game a little bit. So he's not just being consistent, he's making stops when they need it most as well.
Well, it's because the defense is stopping them from getting shots to the net. Like, they are not allowing, like when they played Edmonton this past weekend, I don't think I saw players in and around the crease area barely at all. They kept them completely to the perimeter. They're doing a great job of that. Defensively, this team is as good as I've seen them. And if they can continue that, Cold Lake's in for a lot of trouble, even though these two games are up in that area.
And all the pressure is on Cold Lake now as the higher seed anyway. So this momentum could bode very well for them.
Yeah, it's going to be two exciting games. They're playing out of Bonnyville. I will be fortunate enough to be there on the Saturday. Really looking forward to seeing what that team can do. First time they'll be into the provincial tournament if they can do it.
Expecting lots of tweets from you as well.
Yes, they'll be there.
Well, the Lloydminster Ladies Reapers squad, their game wasn't much to talk about because it didn't happen. The Clanswomen, unfortunately, unable to field a squad due to lack of players, so there's no game. How do we fix this problem, Lance?
Listen, if I am running the Lloydminster Reapers rugby clubs, I am figuring out a way to make this more of a community at the fields. They already do a pretty good job of that, but they need to make it even more so, make it a fun atmosphere to be at, more fun than it is. And I'm not saying it's not fun, because it is an enjoyable game to watch. But they've got to do whatever they can to really promote that community feel and in turn get some players out, make them feel comfortable on the field, and they should be all right. I think that hopefully they can do going forward is more situations like they had with the recruiting session with the Barons, because I think if you can introduce people at a younger age, then they'll be more engaged to possibly join later, and you get a chance to let people see what the players are like. You get familiarized with them as well. The other part of it is advertising. Everyone sees when the game is on and they see something colorful about the advertising or kind of a fun aspect of the advertising, that's always going to make a difference. The problem is advertising dollars are minimal right now, and we're still recovering a little bit from a bad economy, so it's not like it's going to be a quick fix for them. No, and the other thing that was made, the point was made the last time I was out at the Reapers game, was that pregnant girls obviously aren't going to play,
Yeah.
clearly. And the point was made that on a women's side, it's tough because they have families. Some of these women are producing children. They obviously can't come out and play rugby. So that has thwarted some of their efforts to bring out players. But it's not just the Reapers' problem. It's a league-wide issue trying to get players out to play rugby. I think a lot of younger people feel that it's not worth it because they're concerned about being able to go into work the next day. I mean, I've expressed that before, but I think just generating, as I mentioned, a community feel there could bring them some success.
Absolutely, and hopefully, that, again, with that community feel, you get those recruits from those recruiting sessions, and when you have that shortage of women who decide to have kids or have that situation come upon them, you have a feeder system in place. I think that's the biggest thing. Having a feeder system in other sports as well is huge. Having it with this particular sport is just that much bigger.
The feeder sport in Canada, basketball, is working pretty well.
Yeah, it is.
In the U19 program, Canada's men's basketball team is on top of the world. Literally, they are sitting in cloud 9 because they just won the FIBA International Tournament, beating up on the Italians to win gold. Josh, what does this mean for basketball in Canada? Are the Canadian men's team the new superpower in basketball?
Well, not the superpower, because no matter what we want to say about international results, the U.S. men will always be the superpower. It's just so much of a bigger sport there that so many of the NBA players are from that country. The day may come eventually where we get another Argentina and a historic upset, but the U.S. will still be a superpower. However, I think it's fair to say that in the coming years, Canada is going to be a team to watch now because their young players are beating the best in the world, and they're finally starting to get an NBA base. Guys like Andrew Wiggins, guys like Tristan Thompson, and now these other guys coming up. RJ Barrett, who was tournament MVP, he's going to be a player to watch coming up in the next couple of years.
Yeah, and it's amazing what guys like Vince Carter did for basketball in this country. Really brought it to the forefront. I would not be surprised over the next decade that we see basketball maybe start to overtake hockey as the #1 sport in the country. It's becoming more and more popular, and right now there's no way you can label Canada a superpower in basketball. I don't even think you can label them in top 3 right now. But over the next half a decade, it's definitely going to be the case. I still don't think they'll ever overtake the U.S. as #1, but they'll definitely fall in that #2 slot. I really like what is happening with Basketball Canada.
Yeah, and they have a real shot now. If they can get all of their top NBA players to play in this next Olympic cycle, they're going to be one of the most competitive teams there. They're probably at best right now a top 8, top 10 team if they can qualify at the Olympics. If they get those top guys, they're going to be something to watch because they got a lot of athleticism.
I mean, this is the thing with when it comes to Olympics, there's pro players in it. It's not an amateur tournament. It's a pro tournament, essentially, as it pertains to basketball. And Canada just can't compete on that level yet. They're not quite there.
But as we said, with this younger age group, watching them grow will be interesting. I mean, that game against Italy in the final, it was never close. We were always in dominant fashion there. So very exciting for Canada basketball. It's also a very exciting week for Canada volleyball as the men's squad took home bronze at the FIVB World League Championship. It's essentially a mini Olympics every single summer that lasts over a course of a month. Taking home gold, a couple of all-star nods as well for Middle Graham Vigrass and Libero Blair Band, both Alberta products. Does this help spur more growth in the sport of men's volleyball as well?
No. In this country?
Wow.
No way. As sad as it is for me to say that, as it pertains to sport in Canada, volleyball, if it were the size of this table sport in Canada, volleyball is about that big around right about here.
Wow.
It's unfortunately, it pains me to say that. You know, for guys like you that live in the circle of volleyball, it's a massive sport. But in the general topic, it's not. I mean, a tweet went out from Volleyball Canada saying that they had won that gold medal, and it had been retweeted 40 times. If that's basketball, it's thousands of times possibly. True. Volleyball is just not a sport in Canada that's going to grow exponentially like others. I do believe we're going to get some young people that are interested now, but unfortunately not enough.
I would disagree, not with the point that is a smaller circle, because certainly basketball, hockey, soccer's bigger, baseball's much bigger, and I think you can make the argument lacrosse is probably a slightly bigger sport.
Cricket, no joke, is actually bigger.
And depending on the community, it's not bigger in Alberta. Volleyball has grown a lot, specifically out west over the past 10 years, and it's partly been spurred on by the performance of the men's Olympic team last year at the Olympics. I mean, they got top 8 in the world. That was unexpected as well. People were wondering how they do now without their star 7-footer Gavin Schmidt. They have a new near 7-footer in Sharon Vernon Evans, who's only 18. and they already got to the top 3 in the world. I think this could be huge in the same way that when you see your idols play on screen, we've seen the performance from guys like Vince Carter. Now I think it's huge going forward. It's not going to be ever as big as some of those sports, but I think it's going to continue to grow over the next couple of years.
Yeah, that's entirely possible, and I hope it does. I mean, I really hope it does, because it's a fabulous sport to watch. It's fun to be involved with from my angle as far as the sports reporter is concerned. I mean, national tournament, national champions at Lakeland.
Yeah, Lakeland was quite the run.
What else can you say?
Yeah.
CFL Week 3 is in the books. Josh Ryan, what has been the biggest surprise for you so far in this CFL season? It's been great, let me add.
It has been great. I would say that I just didn't think Ricky Ray was going to be as good a quarterback as he's been for this team.
What do you think he's going to be? A dud?
I mean, he's been injured over the past 4 or 5 years so much, and he's getting up there now. I mean, he's getting into that Henry Burris.
He's a Hall of Fame quarterback, man.
Absolutely, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. But Peyton Manning is a Hall of Fame quarterback as well, and you saw how his career ended. Did win a championship, but you saw his game really derail. And instead, Ricky Ray comes out and he's thrown, over 1,000 yards now? I think that, to me, is still just not something I was expecting. I mean, I was hoping the Riders would do better, but I wasn't shocked that they had struggled out of the gate. Ricky Ray's been phenomenal for the Argos.
He's been unbelievable. And he made the point even last season after he had shoulder surgery to say, my shoulder feels 100%. I'm good to go. Ran into some problems last year, mainly because their offensive line was awful.
Well, that too.
But he's working under a different coach, Mark Trestman, that I believe is a better coach for Ricky Ray. The thing that's impressed me so far about the CFL season is the parity we have in the Eastern Conference. It is going to be outstanding, maybe except for Montreal. But other than that, we've got some great parity even throughout the league. And this is going to be a year where I don't know we're going to see the Calgarys dominate and we're going to see the Argos be as low as they were. We're going to see a bunch of teams that are really competing for those playoff spots. And it's already been unbelievably exciting over the first 3 weeks. I cannot wait to see what happens over the rest.
You're already seeing it in the Western Division. I mean, it's very tight there still after 3 weeks. The Stampeders barely getting to their 2 wins. The Red Blacks are winless, but as you said, I mean, they've won, all their games have been within 2 or 3 points.
And they're not going to stay winless, period. They're not going to stay winless.
However, Hamilton is still winless, and they haven't been great. They're minus 34 after 2 games. So that might be the one team that falls off a little bit unless they pick up their game.
Yeah, I'm watching the CFL this past week. Honestly, I was like this up against the TV. I just couldn't get enough of it. It's such an awesome game, and it's great to see that it's so exciting this year. Maybe more exciting than I've seen it in a long time.
And maybe that excitement will translate to Canadian fans sticking with their tried and true sport and not following the NFL, which has not been a great product over the last 2 years.
You'd like to hope.
Speaking of a great product, the Toronto Raptors have been such a blessing for Canadian sports fans over the past 5-6 years. Masai Ujiri gearing that turnaround. Now 2 more big moves, and suddenly the Raptors are outside the luxury tax. Bill Simmons just dubbed him a Jedi. Bill Simmons of TheRinger.com. Do you agree that Masai Ujiri is a Jedi?
What does that mean? Like, he's a space guy? Like, what does that mean?
What do you
mean he's a Jedi?
That he manipulates other people with his mind.
Language.
He uses his mind to manipulate other people to do his bidding. I would say that that's not the worst theory I've heard. Have you seen what he did this past weekend? Damari Carroll and Corey Joseph out under the luxury tax. The team's gotten better.
Are you talking reality right now?
No, of course not.
He manipulates people with his mind. Come on,
they're called metaphors.
Ah, my word.
Metaphors, Lance.
He's made some good trades. Like, are you saying he's a superpower GM? No, he's made some decent trades. He unloaded Andrea Bargnani to the Knicks, who frankly would take anybody they could get at any time, no matter who's the GM for that team. Yeah, he's been pretty good. Is he like
pretty good?
He's been pretty good.
Do you have any idea? The Raptors could barely sell half the stands 5 years ago. They were a joke.
I don't think that's quite the case. Let's relax on that. They were selling more than half the stadium 5 years ago.
Not at the end of that last season.
If you want to talk about him being an incredibly good GM, let's talk about that team doing something other than getting past the second round of the playoffs last year. Let's talk about them beating the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's talk about them being better than the Boston Celtics this year. Like, there's a long way to go before Masai Ujiri is proclaimed.
They were in the conference finals 2 years ago.
Look at what this guy has done.
2 years ago, they were a conference final team, 2 wins away from the NBA Finals.
2 wins. 2 wins is fine, but they're 2 long wins. That's hard to get to. They had trouble getting the 2 wins they got. There's no way they're going to get 2 more. And last year, how many did they get?
Last
4
season,
wins Cleveland got,
true.
0 for the Raptors.
You said the Knicks earlier. The Raptors were the Knicks. and Messiah has turned them into one of the best 5 teams in the league. He's a Jedi, man.
Jedi.
Yes.
What's that from? Star Trek?
Wow, you really don't know your sci-fi at all.
No, I don't watch sci-fi stuff.
Star Wars.
It's not reality. You know what is reality? Graham Murray joining us in the second segment. He's coming up next on the other side.
I bet you he likes Star Wars.
No.
We're back, and the gloves are still off.
Hey-o fans, Graham Murray back in the studio. Do you know that you are the first one that we've had back for a second
good.
time?
First two-timer.
Thanks for having me.
You are the first
Again.
two-timer. Yeah, no, and we're glad. And it's great timing because this past weekend you had a pretty decent weekend.
We did, yeah, good weekend. We move on to the second round of playoffs for
Awesome.
Cross. It's someplace we've been before, but hopefully we can take the next step here.
Yeah, how important is it for you guys from a growth perspective? Because we talked to you earlier in the year about finally getting to that next round. Has that been a kind of a goal for the last couple of years?
The goal has always been to win championships, but like the first year I came in, we didn't make playoffs. Second year, we beat the Westlock in the first round, went on, lost in the second round. Same thing last year, we beat the Edmonton Wizards, and same thing, lost to the Cold Lake Heat. And so hopefully we can right that ship this time and put out the Heat, and I'd love it.
I know we've beat this down, and you and I have beat this to a pulp, but since that Sherwood Park game, there's a ton of consistency with this team, it seems like. And to me, it felt like that was something that lacked over the first part of the season. Are you seeing way more consistency with
Absolutely,
your guys?
yeah. And I think that was our real, to turn the tide there. Everybody was, everybody's disappointed with that effort. It was really just, it's terrible. And everybody finally, we came to the rink. We went over some things, and we maybe put them through a couple of sprints and stuff like that to kind of hammer the point home. But the effort level has definitely come way up, and everybody's firing on all cylinders here now.
Absolutely, the execution level has been really strong, especially on the defensive end, as we talked about. I mean, you guys really controlled everything all weekend. Yeah,
absolutely. Our defense, when we put our best, 6-7 defenders out there, during our games, we're a lockdown squad, and we have a great goaltender back there in Kyle, and it really works well when everybody's there and everybody's wanting to play.
And over the last 2 games against Lakeland, you've actually outscored them, even though you've kind of split those 2 games. I like where you're at. I mean, I think you guys are definitely one of the better teams over the last 5 or 6 games. What's your take on that?
Oh, absolutely. We're definitely coming. We're getting hot at the right time. Yeah. We didn't win back-to-back games, I don't think, all season until the end there. So with the teams, especially teams like Cold Lake, they're a lot. They have a couple individual guys that are really good, and we got some defenders that are really going to lock those guys down. And I think that's definitely the key to victory against them. Is just shut down 9 and 44. That's about it.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys handled the pressure of playing at home in the playoffs well, obviously, this weekend. How much of a challenge do you think it'll be being on the road in someone else's barn?
Cold Lake that never really got a lot of fans, so it's it's a trip that we have to go up there. So it's not like it's an intimidating atmosphere or anything like that. We know who we're playing against. We haven't had a lot of success against them in the last couple of years, but I feel like it's our time now to kind of take them over and maybe give it to them for the next couple here.
You've been 4 years with this team. This is your 4th season. You've never been to a provincial tournament. What do you think it would do for lacrosse in this city if you can get there?
I think it will really just, show the kids that especially if you come home with a championship, it really shows that, you're going to get recognized, and people are, definitely willing to follow a winner more than they are somebody that's a perennial loser, right? So, you win a championship, and you keep going back to those tournaments. You're going to start to build a younger and younger fan base, and hopefully we start getting a little more support from the community. I understand it's during lake time, and everybody wants to go to the lake, but it's exciting. I don't know anybody that's ever gone to the lacrosse game and been like, oh, that was terrible. I don't want to go see that again. So it's a rough sport, but it's also a very beautiful sport.
Do you think there's been some trickle down now, having hosted so many championships last year in Lloydminster, that's kind of bled into this year?
There's a very small chance that we could host the championship. We'd need an upset. We need a little help from Vermilion there, and obviously we need to win too. But if Vermilion can pull an upset against Sherwood Park, we would be the top seed in the North, and we would be hosting the tournament. So, to have that host here would be phenomenal. But just to go to the tournament would be that'd be awesome too.
I know that we talked after your game on Sunday, and you said, you were like emphatic, I really want to be there. I mean, it goes without saying, right? But when you think about, since even the last time you were in here in the course of your season, what has been a standout moment to you? Putting that aside about, wanting to go there, what's been a real standout moment for you coaching this season?
This season, I would say, getting that first victory in Cold Lake. Even though I was suspended for that game for my transgressions, but it was nice to still be in the arena and to beat that team and to let the fellas know that like we can beat that team whenever we want, but we just have to play our game and take care of the ball, and things usually go well for us when we do those little things correctly.
I know you don't want to give away too much strategy going into the weekend, but is there any real keys you're looking at for this weekend to be very successful?
This weekend is shutting down number 9 and shutting down number 44. If we shut those two down, I have full confidence that that we'll run rampant on them on the offensive side. We got 6 or 7 guys up front that put up more than 20 points this year. We're in the 4 years that I've been here, I think this is the most complete team and actual physical team, as opposed to having just a couple all-stars here and there that carry the offensive load. We're deep up front.
You mentioned confidence, and how big is having confidence now that you've beat that team to actually going in there and going at them again?
Absolutely. I feel like the guys, they know that they can beat them, and I think it was a little bit of a mental block there before, and now that it's happened, and we went up there on a Wednesday night, and those are always tough games for us, and to go up there on a Wednesday night and put it to them a little bit, and really all the games that we've lost to them this season, we've been in them late and just kind of let it slip away at the end. So it's nice that we finally came through and got that W and late in the game and took control.
Does that combination of, as you said before, they don't tend to have a really full barn of fans, and the fact that it's a weekend game, not in the middle of the week, kind of help your guys for the preparation of the game and then being sharp when you're playing?
Oh, and the thing too is they've decided to play in Bonnyville because I guess half their team is from the Bonnyville area, so we're going up to Bonnyville. It's a little closer road trip for us. We won't stay overnight, so we'll come home and get a good sleep in on Saturday and go back up for the big game Saturday night there. And we're a team that travels well. I think our record on the road was even, if not a little better. But I don't think we have troubles playing on the road at all.
I will be at that Saturday game, and obviously I'm hoping to see your team. I'm hoping to see your team up a game, or at least up a game would be ideal, and obviously that's where you want to be. What is the mindset with your guys going into this? Like they must be confident, but what do you tell them? What are you telling them? Like even after your win, what are you telling them during practices this week?
Just to go over the things that we sometimes we struggle with a couple areas of the game, and if you shore those things up, and we really shouldn't be having any problems with these guys. Defensively, I feel like we've really turned the cornerstone too. Like just guys are really starting to buy into the program, really understand the program. Just going through the film and being able to physically see that if you just position yourself this way or just pop out here, as opposed to just doing what you feel is the right move, and you can see it, and it really starts to you really identify some issues that and have been shored up quite good, I guess.
Have you been to see any of their games this year?
I unfortunately have not. I've only gotten to watch the highlights. One thing though that you talked about from your first visit that you guys, it looks like you've really shored up, is the pick and rolls on the offensive end, where you really weren't happy last time you were in the studio. But that seems to have really shored itself up over the last couple of weeks.
A lot of movement, a lot better movement, and guys, and once you start seeing it on the film too, is guys, as soon as you start doing these things, you're going to score more goals. And as soon as they started to realize that, it really, just waterfalled after that, and guys really started moving a lot more. And another thing in lacrosse too is if you're not moving, you really you're just a sitting target. Like on defense, you can just sit. The guy can just sit there and just pound on you, and if you're just going to sit there and take it, you're really not doing yourself any favors. Like it pays to move, and it pays for the team for you to be moving too. So
we were discussing on the show in our first segment that the goaltending has been excellent as well. But I was also saying that Kyle hasn't had to make as many saves as he did earlier in the season, just because the defense has been so much better. But what can you say about what you've gotten out of him this year?
for the last 4 years, I've been blessed with outstanding goaltending. I haven't, like, every year Kyle's been here, and Tyven was a great goaltender for us too until he graduated, and we got 2 good goalies coming up too, and they're both 16-year-old kids. They've been sheltered a little bit by having Kyle carry the big load and be able to carry us through the playoffs here, and they're definitely going to be on the up and up. And Kyle, I can't say enough good things about him as a goaltender, as a team guy in the dressing room, just total package. He's great for us.
16-year-olds, you just mentioned them as goalies. You've also got a couple playing outside of goaltending. Kyle or Logan Blythe, as an example, is one. How much confidence does this give you for next year or the year after?
It is, sometimes I feel like not sometimes, but they're kids that have been drafted to teams in Edmonton. So at any point that if they want to take their career to the next step, they're going to have to go to Edmonton. I'm not sure if that's what they want to do, but as long as they're sticking around here, they're going to be a powerhouse and stars for us. And especially those kids that are coming up from midget as well, that have been playing with us for the last half season. Like they're going to be big players for us if they choose to stick around here in Lloyd.
I hope you have good things this coming weekend, obviously.
Me too.
And I know you.
I really do too.
It would be fantastic for you to go into a provincial tournament. I really think it would be great for lacrosse in this area too. I mean, it's fun to watch. I know you haven't been to a game, but it's amazing to watch. It's great. It's a great time. Yeah. Good luck this weekend, my man.
Great to have you back, Graham.
Good
luck.
luck. Do well. Yeah, definitely. Get out to Bonnyville to watch a game.
It's not a far drive.
Albert on the other side.
We're back, and the gloves are still off.
Hey, sports fans. Albert joins us.
Tweet.
Yeah, he's full.
Yeah, he had a turkey dinner too for some reason. Which is a
I
bad
didn't
idea.
think that birds were cannibals like that.
Birds are vicious creatures.
Unless
man.
you're the magpies that are wandering around Lloydminster.
They're not just vicious. Those guys are ticket.
They'd eat a
pilferers,
dead
too.
human on the side of the road.
They're legit scavengers.
All right, buddy, you got the first tweet.
So we're going to start with at TSN Sports. There's Aaron Judge hammers home 30th homer to break Joe DiMaggio's record for Yanks rookies.
That's pretty significant.
This guy's having an amazing year.
He's having an unbelievable season. Like, one for the record books, frankly.
Yeah.
Like, it's impressive what he's done.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Yankee guy,
Neither am I.
Hey,
but
it's
pretty cool to see what he's done.
Everyone thought that the Yankees were going to be better this year, but no one thought they'd be this good.
This is Michael Grange, at Michael Grange, of course, of Sportsnet fame.
Great reporter.
As a 17-year-old in an event for 19-year-olds, of course, talking about Mississauga, one of the Mississauga players there from Canada basketball. Pretty impressive, Barrett, what he's done playing in that tournament.
Absolutely.
as a
I mean,
youngster.
key guys were missing in that tournament, and they still pretty much kicked everybody.
No,
Male is
they
a
did.
beak.
It's amazing.
Not pretty much.
It's
They did.
It's an amazing performance. Can't wait. I can't wait for basketball in 2020. I really think this is going to be the year where we finally take a step up.
No, it's not.
Okay. At Trev_Harris, the night is so much better knowing there's a CFL game on.
I love
it
this.
was a good week.
I love that we're seeing CFL players loving their night because CFL games are on. I mean, I think that what we're seeing this season is thrilling not only fans of the sport, but players playing the games. They're loving it even more, and it's awesome to see.
Do you think that'll happen where people will start to not watch the NFL when it hits around in September?
I hope so.
You're just going to stick with CFL?
No, definitely not. People are going to watch the NFL, but I guess my hope is for the CFL that it becomes more and more popular. I just love the game. I think it's awesome. This is Josh Lewinberg at JLew1050. James Johnson's salary over the next 4 seasons, $60 million. His first 8 seasons, $17.3 million. He'll make more next year than he did his first 7 years combined. The NBA salaries are outside control right now.
They make a lot of money, though. The league, that's what the league revenue generates.
It's nuts.
It's a lot of money.
James Johnson is going to make that kind of money over
And
4 years.
James Harden making more than Steph Curry. It is what the revenue is, though.
There's
it's
mail.
collectively bargains. I mean, do you want to know what soccer players make?
No.
It's crazy
No, I don't.
what soccer players make
don't.
overseas.
Thanks.
From Sportsnet now, we're getting, touting both Canadian sports networks, remembering the undefeatable spirit and presence of #Oilers great David Semenko. Of course, a lot of honoring went into this past week of the Oilers legend, former bodyguard, as people called, of Wayne Gretzky. Guy could also play hockey, which people forget. He
did.
once scored more than 20 goals in a season.
Do you remember watching him play?
No, as I was not alive for that period. I was just missed it. But I do remember watching on ESPN Classic. They showed a lot of those Oilers games. And yeah, he was pretty entertaining player. Like, he was very charismatic player.
I thought you were like 40 years old, so I thought you would have seen
Well, I mean, I look 40.
This is Chris King at King or Chris. You know, one of those guys that really doesn't help Basketball Canada at all. This week, just kidding. Chris King's a big friend of the show.
Kinger.
He's going to be on the show soon. This week we have third-year guard Taya Paler, who is a summer clerk at SGI in Meadow Lake. # what we do in the summer. Third installment of his series profiling his players and what they're doing this summer, preparing for their season.
Yeah, and they're not just preparing in terms of their work ethic, but they're also been in the gym quite a bit. We saw that with Angela Barron already.
Yeah.
Despite that injury to Tori Dugan, it's going to be a really good squad, and I think a lot of fun to watch.
Hopefully.
I'm not hoping. I'm confident.
Coaching could improve a little bit.
So Sklapper at RS Sklapsky.
Another
so
friend
Ryan
of the show.
Sklapsky, another friend of the show, yeah. Pretty sure Rod Peterson has the best job in Regina. New Mosaic is a gem. Well done, Regina. # Mosaic Moments. # Riderville.
Of course, Rod Peterson, the play-by-play voice for those Rough Riders, and yeah, he does have an incredible job.
Yeah, that stadium's nice.
Nice.
Nice stadium. Yeah. Nice stadium.
This is one of the followers of our show, Rob at LloydGuy82. We were having a discussion, he and I, about Jim Van Horn of TSN fame, and we were talking about his mustache, and he compared it to Tom Selleck, which I said was an insult to Jim Van Horn, because Tom Selleck's mustache is nothing compared to Jim Van Horn's, and he replied, true.
Okay.
His mustache was in a class of its own. Loved watching him on 4:30 Sports Desk after school. Love to meet the man. He needs to do a book, and I think that's a solid idea, actually.
I do agree with that. I don't agree, though, on the mustache. Tom Selleck's mustache might be the greatest mustache in history of Hollywood.
Next to Jim Van Horn's.
I mean, they're both great. At Arash Madani, a guy that you have had a few issues with recently. This really isn't difficult. Put 52 seconds on the clock. Why must the CFL insist on being so incapable of basics? You think there's something else going on there?
I have a feeling the next one is Arash Madani as well. In fact, it is.
Yeah.
So this comes from a tweet from CFL Communications where they tweeted that 769,000 viewers for this Rough Riders Winnipeg Blue Bombers game was the most watched sporting event on Canada Day, to which Arash Madani replied, fake news. The Blue Jays game on July 1st drew a television audience of 822,000. Not sure how 769 surpasses that. I get that Arash Madani works for Sportsnet and the Blue Jays are a Sportsnet property and the CFL is a TSN property. I get that. But there is no reason for a guy like that, who's a very respected journalist, to be out there bashing the CFL the way he is. Just stop it. Just stop doing it, man. Like, it's ridiculous. He's a great reporter. He's one of the best reporters in the country. But that is juvenile, and it needs to stop.
You heard it first from Lance Phillips.
I'm hot about it. It's
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
He is hot about this take. Hot take Lance, all the best kind of Lance. At Randy Ambrosi, there's his new profile pick as the head commissioner, rather, of
14th
the CFL.
CFL commissioner, and I'm looking forward to what he does. I think he's going to do great things for the league.
Hopefully.
He's a businessman who played in the league, might I add.
So, good combination.
Speaking of CFL, this is Chris Fortier at C Forts Got a Lock. Security at TD Place is asking this at Toronto Argos fan to take his flag down. Holds at Red Blacks STH2. This is offside big time. Basically what happened there was an Argonaut fan in Ottawa had an Argos flag that he was touting, and security at the Red Blacks game told him to take it down.
Yeah,
what are we doing here?
I don't know
what are we doing here. Are we trying to promote the CFL? Like, what is this?
That's like saying you don't like a political party, so you're not allowed into a restaurant.
Like, if that's the way you want to kibosh fans going to games, that's how you kibosh fans going to games.
Yeah. Don't be like the No Fun
Just
League.
Stop.
Be your own product. Don't be the No Fun League.
And that's the kind of stuff that starts a No Fun League.
Exactly.
You can tell I'm fired up CFL-wise today.
Now, I love at Wimbledon, as I mentioned before. Not your everyday quest, # Wimbledon. That's Rafa Nadal. Yeah, I mean, how many times do you see someone sign a limb? That's amazing. That's signing a prosthetic leg.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine a guy taking his leg off? Hey, sign this. Sign this.
That's amazing.
It's unbelievable. And then in the presser afterwards, someone said, "Is that the oddest thing you've ever signed?" Did you see his response?
No, I did not.
Yes. Yes, he said.
I mean, and that's the guy, and that's saying something because he has signed a lot of different body parts over the course of his tennis career.
We were talking about Aaron Judge earlier.
Yes.
Okay. Sung Min Kim, at Sung Min Kim. You, the Aaron Judge hype is getting out of control. Me, these are league leaders. Batting, average, Judge, 329. Home runs, Judge, 28. RBI, Judge, 63. Oh, there's Cameron Maybin with stolen bases at 24. Runs, Judge, 73. On base percentage, Judge, 447. Like, the dude is just raking right now.
And the reason why people are having that reaction is because he's a Yankee. If he plays for another team, there's not the same kind of vitriol that goes on.
Well, I think a lot of people just think he can't maintain this, but I believe he can maintain
until
this.
he has a bad 3 weeks, you don't have an argument. At Jerry D, there's a Canadian classic comic. Canada's beaten the USA in volleyball and basketball. Amazing. I mean, it was an amazing weekend for two sports that aren't as on the forefront as hockey is, and with a whole bunch of young talent, they did great things. It's awesome.
It's awesome. There's mail. It's awesome. I mean, I love it.
It was awesome day.
Let's bang it this last one. This is incredible. This is Talking Cracker Back. This is a video of Ali. I found a shot of Roca versus Wolf. FYI, Roca is Ali. Like, what is going on here?
Have you not watched Ali?
That's unbelievable. And then the shake. The dude is awesome. Like, incredible.
Yeah, the best ever.
Score This coming up on the next side.
Sounds good. Love Score This.
If you can't score, you might as well drop the gloves.
Welcome back, sports fans. Score This. Haven't had this in a little while.
Yeah.
And
I missed it.
He's
I
excited.
really missed it. Yeah. I like videos, man. I'm an internet deep gouger.
If we could play entire movies on this show, I'm sure you would.
Oh, probably. Yeah. Let's watch Warrior like 8 times in a row.
All right. What's Warrior? That must be another sci-fi flick. Dude, I don't watch movies. I'm out causing chaos in the community.
You have no idea how much
I'm out playing sports.
You've lost so many respect points.
I'm out eating a lot of food, as you can see. Doing what I can.
Actually, you know what? Maybe you wouldn't like the movie because it's about MMA.
I'm not a big MMA guy.
Yeah.
You know that. All right, let's go to Score This. Let's start with our first vid. Comes courtesy of Extreme Lacrosse, who we spoke to earlier, Graham Murray. This is a pretty nasty hit. And it's coming up. Right about there.
Oh.
Slow to get up.
Yep.
That lad was slow to get up.
That's
Josh Ryan, what are you scoring?
It's pretty good hit. It wasn't devastating, but it was a solid hit. So we're gonna go with an 8 out of 10.
6.
Oh.
I would have liked to have seen him absolutely clobber the guy, but it was okay. It wasn't the best I've seen, but it's good to see. All right, Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson. Thinks he's a pretty big shot.
He won an NBA title. Oh, no.
Nice shot, Klay.
This comes after his missed dunk from a couple weeks ago, too.
I have no idea why that was operating in weird fashion there, but what are you scoring it? And by that, I mean Klay Thompson operating in weird fashion.
I've seen worse. You've seen worse from Klay Thompson. He missed a dunk, but it was still pretty bad stuff. Man.
2.
Yeah, I know he's a kids camp. He's just goofing around, but man, like you're one of the greatest 3-point shooters of all time. You can't airball stuff.
All right, DeMar DeRozan, playing a high school kid.
Yeah.
You know, what do you think is going to happen here? I mean, what do you expect to happen? Of course, he's going to make the kid look silly. I'm not sure what the.
He's supposed to be a good high school player, though.
He's playing an NBA player who's experienced.
Who's also one of the best, probably one-on-one players in the league.
Well, he is probably the second best player in the Eastern Conference right now.
Interesting. I'd love to know Kinger's opinion.
Which isn't saying much for the Eastern Conference, considering it doesn't have any players left in it.
Harsh. Okay, are we grading his defense, or are we
grading? You can grade whatever you
offense?
want to grade.
I'm going to grade his defense, and I'm going to go with the 2 again because I know he's playing an NBA player. Like that was pretty bad.
The whole thing's a 2. The whole thing. DeMar DeRozan beating a high school kid, the high school kid not being able to defend, the fact that people are like, ooh.
It's the Drew League, man. It's one of the most watched things in the summer.
All right, this is courtesy of the Lloydminster Liners. This is the intermediate Liners. Right. Came in the championship game against the Maidstone Iron Maidens, which the Liners clobbered them.
Yeah.
This is a pretty solid catch right here. That's a pretty good catch. And that's a pretty good double play.
Yeah.
Little
So-
local action for you there, JR.
Yeah, we haven't had enough local videos.
How about I
in a
go
while,
first?
so- You go ahead.
I got a 9 on that one. I think that's pretty solid. I think that's solid work. And I don't know if you've ever been to the Legion Park Diamond. That particular diamond, it's pretty close. Like, she caught that ball from, like, it seemed like 35 feet away.
Yeah.
Like, she was looking for a bunt.
Yeah. I'm
good
going to
stuff.
go kind of how you went at the beginning. It's a good catch. It's not, it's not.
What are you talking about?
To me, you got to be like out on the ground, like outstretched, dirt in the shirt.
Dude,
whole
this
deal.
comes from the same game. This is
Okay.
unbelievable.
I'm ready.
This is head coach Art Tupper
Okay.
from the ladies intermediate
Okay.
team. This is during my interview with him post-game.
Right.
Those are
Can see the lighting.
mosquitoes.
Oh my God.
Those are mosquitoes hovering
That's
around
the
his
worst.
face. And the thing is you can see them by his shoulder.
Yeah.
Literally,
They're right.
there's
I
one
mean,
on his ear right now.
I'm amazed.
Here come more.
Oh my
There's one on
God.
his chin. Dude, like at one point there were 5 mosquitoes on his face, and he's look at.
Oh,
there's-
it's right on his nose. God. Just smack yourself in the face
look at,
already.
he's still talking
Oh.
like nothing.
What a trooper.
Like nothing happened.
But if
There's
he gets,
another one.
If he dies from West Nile,
Dude,
we'll know
stop
what happened.
Stop and count, count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's one on his ear. There's 5 mosquitoes there on that guy's face.
If we have like some kind of plague in this city, that's the big ground zero. That guy's face.
The man is a hero.
I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing concentration.
How do you do that? How? Dude, honestly, I wanted to hit them with my microphone. I wanted to smack them with the mic. I didn't know what to do.
And see, that's
You
where
cannot give that guy a 9 for that.
because as much as I admire his concentration, he could have also saved himself a lot of itchiness later.
It's amazing.
It is, but he also
That's
could
a
have saved
feat
himself
in itself.
But he could have saved
What do you
himself.
think? There's got to be a Guinness World Record for the amount of mosquitoes on you at one time.
Probably like 35.
Oh, it's disgusting.
Because at that point, you're starting to drain your face with blood.
More Clay Thompson. More Clay Thompson.
Ah.
China Clay. This is a
Okay.
little tweet from Sports Illustrated. Dude, this is amazing. So amazing. It's incredible. It's incredible stuff.
I'm gonna start. It's not like it's Clay's. I'm both happy I saw this, but I'm also like Clay's. I love how dorky he is.
That's incredible. The pure hilarity of it is amazing.
Fair enough.
So
I think
good.
we graded that one
It's so
differently.
good.
I love Clay Thompson's dorky.
All right, buddy. This is this kid. This
Okay.
kid didn't do so well.
Oh, it's my
This
favorite.
kid did not do so well.
LeBron.
I love that the ball hits him afterwards. Just add insult
add
to
this, like,
injury.
Yeah. Oh, an underrated move by the little guy, by the way. But yeah, he's no King James.
Go ahead.
I love that video. That's my favorite video of the day. I don't.
What are you ranking a 10 there?
Because it was the overall quality of the video. The attempted LeBron, the ball hitting him afterwards, the little guy staring him down afterwards, like, "What are you doing?" Again, we're ranking the
Get up
videos
off the
quickly.
court. He looks like Vince Carter. He didn't smash his face. He landed on the court in his hand. Get up. Just get up and get going on with your life. I don't like when guys lay on the court like that. Like, it's like soccer.
Yeah. What if he was like Maddox Steinley and he broke his elbow?
Well,
Broke his arm.
that kid deserves an 11.
Yeah, I know.
He breaks his arm and then runs half of the rest of the race before he realizes,
pretty impressive.
my arm's going to fall off.
Yeah, go back to our old episodes. That was a pretty impressive one there.
No, that was incredibly impressive. One of the best ones we've seen.
Yeah, I still love this last one. That's my favorite video in
Dude,
months.
Art Tupper with the mosquitoes is incredible. Like,
That's also
just
good.
amazing. Bow wow on the other
More
side.
videos.
Couple of beauties for you.
More videos. I like more videos. Always a fan of more videos.
We're back. You can keep your gloves on, but ours are off.
Best of the week, worst of the week. Hey, I don't know if anyone's noticed our new graphic on our desk.
Yeah.
Who looks tougher?
Well, I never look tough, so clearly you.
Who do you, I feel like you're leaning back and I'm coming at you with everything I got.
Yeah, because I can't fight unless I see like blood red angry.
Blood
Like
red.
if you made me deathly angry, then yeah.
If I made you deathly angry, you're dead.
If we were just having like a fight, like just let's have a fight, I would lose to a pygmy, but
A pygmy owl.
yeah,
A pygmy owl.
a pygmy mouse.
Is that even a thing?
I mean, I made it up, sure. It's a thing.
All right.
If it is a thing, I'd lose to it.
Let's go to Best of the Week, Worst of the Week. Best of the Week
Yes.
comes from Basketball Canada.
Yeah.
And this is the locker room after the win against the USA.
I think someone's excited.
Yeah, these guys are pretty pumped.
Best part of this video is the white guy being super white in the middle of the room.
With no shirt on. No, listen to the hollering going on. I love this dude at the end here coming up. Like, it's just amazing. Yeah! pretty amped up about
That was
that.
one of the assistant coaches or trainers.
Worst of week, it's a super great story.
Yeah, it's great to be a Canadian sports fan this weekend.
No, it is,
Man.
definitely.
Yeah.
Unless you are cheering for Wimbledon Canadian sports athletes.
Yeah, I mean, roundage, fourth round.
Sure. Eugenie Bouchard is done.
Yeah.
Let's go to basketball worst of week. I love this worst of week. It's one of my favorites of all time. This comes in tweet form.
Okay.
Big Baller Brand still
Oh,
in
yeah.
beta.
I know how much you love Big Baller.
Lonzo, like, the more of this that happens, the better. What's he doing here? What's he doing?
I don't know if, yeah, I mean, there's a part of me that almost feels bad for him when he gets criticized because of his dad, but then again, he says he likes his dad stuff, so I don't know.
I can't feel bad for that at
know.
all.
I know.
I can't. I can't.
Yeah, and in correction, Milos Raonic actually did beat Alexander Zverev, so he is in the
Sure.
quarters. I
No,
mean,
that's great.
a great
I guess I'm
performance.
speaking from the women's side. I mean,
Yeah.
Listen,
Women-
there were a couple tweets that we didn't quite get at that we wanted to. And a few weeks ago, maybe about a month ago, we had on our Twitter about a guy who was mowing his lawn while there was a tornado going on.
It was national news on light news all over the place.
Yeah, well, it was insane.
Yeah.
He's like, I was keeping an eye on it. So this tweet, you can have at it there, Josh.
Yeah,
Ryan.
I'll read it off.
Yeah,
for you.
it's incredible.
This is from Trees FJNALE. So the lawnmower guy lives in my town. He was in the parade today. I can't stop laughing, obviously.
Look at the
spelling
tweet.
Laughing. A little bit different. I mean, that.
Look at the picture.
I mean,
Home
hey,
of the lawnmower guy.
I mean, way to capitalize on some celebrity.
And
I
it's
guess,
like
right?
Dirt Guy. All right, this one's
Yeah.
awesome. This is from Barstool Sports. This is flat out incredible. Larry Bird trying to smuggle some grapefruits back from the UK. You're not fooling anyone, pal. That is incredible. That is a handsome woman.
Yeah.
That is a handsome woman.
I mean, the Lebitard Show's been saying for years that Larry Bird looks like an old Ukrainian woman. And I bet you that judge is Ukrainian.
matched. That matched 100%.
Oh, my goodness.
right,
Okay,
blow
here's another
through
one.
this one quick.
So speaking of the balls, at Jeopardy Sports, the Jeopardy question is, this NBA player threw one really good pass, and now his father will be calling him better than Magic, Stockton, and Jesus combined. Of course, you know the answer.
Who is Lonzo Ball?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes. Oh, LeVar Ball. Find the flat spot on earth. Go for it. Last one here from Damari Carroll. This is after he was traded. Playing for Toronto and having an entire nation behind you is something very special. Thank you, we the North. Nothing but love. Awesome.
Yeah, great humanitarian work in the community. Just too bad he got injured.
Thanks for watching. Catch you in 7 days.